Hi, it's Cara and today we are doing a book review. So today we're talking about The Poppy War by RF KUANG. This is an adult, underline stressed adult, fantasy inspired by Chinese mythology and the Sino-Japanese War, plural, I think. I'm not up to date enough with my history to really comment too much on that aspect, but this had a bit of controversy because the main character at the beginning is about 13, I think, maybe even younger, and a lot of people accordingly thought this was a young adult book. It's really, really not. It deals with really intense issues, and it's got one of those steep character aging arcs. This is definitely an adult fantasy, just putting it out there. Also putting it out there, this has a bunch of trigger warnings, so if anything you might be a bit sensitive to, including sexual violence, drug use, and a bunch of other stuff. If you're concerned, there is a document floating somewhere. I will try and find it and link it down below that goes through chapter by chapter that the author made with all the trigger warnings. So if you have any concerns, definitely go check that out before reading this book, because this book is very intense. So this is set in a fantasy world called Nakara, loosely based on China, and follows, loosely, it's actually quite closely based, why did I say loosely? And follows our main character Rin, who is an orphan girl, working and kind of raised by these opium dealers. She is completing this big exam to try and get into a military academy as her way out of this shitty situation with these opium dealers, and she just wants to get out of town and get far away, but to do that she's going to have to ace this test to get into the best school in the country that doesn't charge fees. So she's working real hard to get into this school. This is told over 3 acts with a progressively kind of intensifying storyline. We start off with the kind of school journey, but quickly progresses into full-on war zone, incredible, crazy stuff going on. So definitely keep that in mind. It does, because of this kind of format, have a bit of a slow pace, especially at the beginning, but I think it is well worth the wait. You should power through if you're having any struggles near the start. Okay, so now let's talk about characters. I really enjoyed Rin. She's feisty but flawed and complicated. She often makes terrible decisions, but the grounding of the character and her reason for making choices seemed very well developed to me, and I always believed her as a character, so I thought that was a great positive. The side characters really had a depth and diversity of personalities and backstories, and I just really loved the richness of the surrounding cast of characters. I particularly liked Zhang and Kate and Alton, though they all again made crappy decisions I wasn't always a fan of, but I really liked them all as characters. As I mentioned, the plot of this is super intense, but it does have a bit of a slow start. This is also compounded for me because I was very busy during the time I read this, which normally for me, if I'm very busy, that knocks rankings like right down. I find the plot like drags and drags because I don't have the time to get fully into the story. But even though I was like hardly reading, I was reading like 1 chapter of this a night for a large portion of my reading experience, I still really enjoyed the plot and found it really entertaining, so I think that's a major positive on this. If you're not busy while reading this, you would fly through it, love it, really enjoy it, I believe. Like, I strongly believe that. I just did not pick a good time to read this. I was hoping it would like push me to read even when I was busy, but I didn't really factor in the fact that I was that busy. I just literally did not have time. Now let's talk about world building. I really loved the world in this story. It's very rich, especially culturally, and with the religious aspects that are woven in. The magic system kind of comes from a religious pantheon kind of perspective, and I thought that was really well done. I really loved that, and especially how the wider range of characters didn't believe in it. It made it feel very real and plausible for a magic system. I thought that was amazing. I believe this also has really good parallels to the historical context it draws from, though I'm not familiar enough with the historical context to comment properly on that. But if it does, it's done a heartbreaking job. I was heartbroken, and I'm more heartbroken in understanding that this is based on events that were very real, and that is so saddening to me. But I kind of don't want to talk too much about that other than acknowledging that it was a large part of this book, but only because I don't have the expertise in that area. This has like no romance also. If you're a person that avoids romance, this is a good option for you. Like none, zip, zilch, nada. Actually, that's a lie. There's like a weird little kind of not really a romance that's like vaguely hinted at, but it's more like an admiration asexual kind of thing. But nothing happens anyway. It's just like a deep attachment kind of scenario. Overall, this is a really beautiful book. Overall, this is a really beautiful book. It has a unique blend of history and mythology into this fantasy magic system, and I just loved it so much. This is 5 stars. I want to reread it. Please someone let me know if the audiobook for this is good. Yes, it does have one. Just checked. Let me know if anyone's read the audiobook and could recommend if the narrator is good, because I would really love to reread this perhaps on audio. Thank you for watching my review of The Poppy War by RF KUANG. Comment down below what you thought of this book, and chat with me about it down below. Otherwise, I will see you soon with another video. Thanks, bye!